opens it out about the racist attack on Jax, Garcelle's 14-year-old son, and the level of hatred that was forwarded to him. They showed some of the emails and some of the threats. Garcelle said that she thinks that the person who did it was in the show's circle. She mentioned that they sent pictures of her when she posed for Playboy, and she believes that someone on the show was trying to get her off the Housewives series simply because if they attack her son, she is gonna leave. So it was very emotional. Garcelle is a dignified woman and she held stuff in. She's the ultimate professional. And then they talked about that threat. Garcelle ended it by saying that she has an investigator on the case to find out who sent those bots to her son. Andy turned to Dorit and they talked about the break-in. They rehashed the incident, how these two men came into her home, and then he brought up the issue, the elephant in the room. People online don't believe the story. They believe the PK hired these men to burglarize the place, and that she didn't have a storyline, so that's what they were going with. I believe personally that's why people don't believe her, is that she asked the robber to leave her phone and the robber left her phone by the gate. I don't know a time when Pookie and Knock Knock is going to leave the phone at the gate so you can call the popo on them. Carl chirped up that the people who robbed her spot, who took her jewelry and bags, etc., etc., somebody contacted them and told her that, hey, we got your stuff. It's at grandmama's house. And they sent her a picture of some of the things and said, if you want it back, you gotta pay. And she sent some money. So the same person who robbed Dorit and left the phone is the same person who robbed Carl. New kind of criminal in town, according to both Carl and Dorit. Now my question is this, because you know, when something smells funky, I gotta say something. I'm sure Carl filed an insurance claim for the stuff she lost. Did she contact them regarding the story that she was contacted by the thieves, as well as the investigators who are on the case? She advised that the way to get her stuff was to pay a ransom to get her stuff back. There's a new kind of protocol for burglars that I don't know nothing about, and that's okay. I get that. I plead the blood of Jesus on where I live, my neighborhood, my community. Their stories right now don't make any sense, but I could be ill-informed. I could be wrong. This is all allegedly. The situation that how a burglar is now responding to his victims is a little strange to me, but I could be wrong. Carl had a problem with Sutton when she was talking to Jenkins, and Jenkins mentioned her miscarriage, and Carl was upset and even implied that she didn't believe Sutton because she never heard that story before. When Crystal was telling her story about her eating disorder, Carl told her story as well. Both stories are basically the same. Carl said that at Garcelle's party she behaved horribly. She blamed it on the alcohol. She had a little bit too much tequila, and the tequila caused her to behave unseemingly. But I beg to differ. Carl has behaved unseemingly for every season that I've been watching Beverly Hills. She has been a coward. She has been deceitful. She has been manipulative. I really didn't see her drink most of the time when she was behaving like that. So I don't know. It is what it is. But Carl is always quick to point someone's issue out, but she never really hold fast to hers. So I hope Annie keeps her accountable in this show, simply because she was foul. She was in with Renner, Erica, Dorit, and I just think that someone needs to hold her feet to the fire. A lot was said about Crystal and her eating disorder. Someone called Erica out about telling Crystal that she don't have to throw up, she could just use laxatives, and that's not healthy either. And Erica seems surprised that that's the case. They cloak themselves in ignorance, and it's not fun to watch. Someone asked Crystal how she felt when Dorit revealed to the group that she was throwing up every day. Going forward, that anything she speaks to her about privately, that's where she should keep it. But I believe Dorit knew that telling everyone that she throws up every day would be a problem, because Crystal did mention that she felt such shame that was discussed, and it was a little gossipy. Someone asked Crystal why she said that Sutton made a statement that was dark and that she couldn't repeat it. And because she wouldn't say what Sutton said, it implied that Sutton made some sort of racist comment. They had a back and forth because Carl was holding her feet to the fire. Carl was a little bit extra with Crystal, and Crystal said that it wasn't what she said, but she thought Sutton's tone was offensive to her. And he was pressing. He said, well, he waited 3 episodes to find out what Sutton said because he was curious. And Crystal, at this time, she's going back and forth with her words. She's not consistently telling the same story. She said, well, everyone can learn from it. Andy clapped back and said, well, perhaps the learning curve for you is to not talk about someone being racist when they're not. And that really put Crystal in her place, because the whole sequence of questions to her, she wasn't strong in her opinion. They even asked her why she thought Michael Jackson's songs were a problem, and she talked about the allegation. Now, as far as I know, Michael was never convicted of any claim of abuse. Crystal really needs to be mindful of what comes out of her mouth. She didn't look good in this sequence at all. It just came off as she was not trustworthy. I think Crystal may not be suited for these group of vipers she's found herself in, unless she develops a backbone. Andy called out Carl for saying that Crystal is overly dramatic, and they talked specifically about that incident when Sutton went to Crystal's room to return a jacket and Crystal was naked. Crystal explained that it's because of her eating disorder and someone seeing her body. That's why she used the word violated. Crystal has an eating disorder. Anything as it relates to her body and people looking at her body, she's going to have a problem with, or think a certain kind of way. If you have an eating disorder, that means you're thinking in a certain kind of way. So stuff that people will say that it's not all that drama, you certainly won't feel otherwise. And it's disappointing that Carl didn't take the time to understand what Crystal was actually saying. So Jenkins finally showed up, and she was asked about, why she's not there. She said she was sick, but Jenkins didn't look sick. I'm just saying, based on the looks, based on the makeup, her eyes, she did not look sick. So Andy went in, he talked about the book, that people thought that she was a madam, that her her colleagues were highlighted in the book, and she said no, she's not a madam. She worked hard on that book, and it was just a creative thing that she did. She was asked whether she knew Jeffrey Epstein. She said she's never met him, that the pictures circulated on that the pictures circulating online was fake. She was a refugee back then. She was asked why she licked her lips so much, and she said she has a tic that causes her to lick her lips. She was also asked why she called out a black content creator, that it must be bad for you being a black content creator. She said she used her words wrong. She thought that the black content creator meant that it was someone on the dark web who is trying to steal your information and stuff. Crystal came to defense, saying that it was probably a language barrier for her. Is well known in powerful circles. So I don't think this lady speaks a word out of turn. I think she uses certain things in the show to get by. Garcelle said that she believed that Jenkins was behind the dart attack on her son. Jenkins responded that she must think that she is really evil to have done something like that, and Garcelle said, yep. Garcelle didn't come to play. And then Carl said something silly. Carl told Garcelle that Garcelle should have taken Diana's name out of that text that was sent to Jax, Garcelle's son. So Garcelle turned to her and asked her if she was crazy. Emphasis added. And Garcelle said it was like off the chain, highly irregular, that she's expected to edit Diana's name out of a text that someone sent to her, because Diana threatened that she's gonna sue her, regardless if they have a contract or not with Bravo. This is why Carl is a coward. We find out that Jenkins was sending Garcelle texts every day. Garcelle said that she was bullying her and harassing her by these texts that she was sending, and they showed some of the texts on the show. So Diana, now knowing that she has been exposed, pretends again that she doesn't understand what is Garcelle is saying or what is happening. And Andy had to, take that time to tell her that Garcelle believes that she is bullying her. Andy asked Garcelle if Diana was actually there, what would she say to her? And Garcelle said she wants to know why Jenkins seems so obsessed with her, and that she needed to leave her alone. Don't send her any texts. Don't do anything but leave her alone, because she's not going to be threatened by Jenkins. What she does is she uses her wealth and power to try to intimidate Garcelle. That's why she sent Garcelle a threatening email saying that if anything happened to her family, she will hold her responsible for it. That's a threat. This show has now descended into a lot of thugs and bullies and just vile personalities. some of these ladies display viper and evil behavior. So Andy wrapped it up. I guess next week we're gonna see Kathy come through, but I just think this whole season 12 was trash, and the woman behaved in an unseemly way to other women on the cast, and I think that Andy, the producers really need to be cautious at this point because people are now getting death threats. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please click that notification so you know when I upload new videos. I appreciate you. Thank you. And have a good one. Bye bye.